Mark, welcome back. Round two.
Round two, yeah. Almost forgot about round one.
Yep, that was right after I took your Accept Yourself program.
Yeah, when was this? Like July? June?
Yes,
Wow.
yes. Yep, and that was the second time you had offered the Accept Yourself program.
The one you did, yeah,
Yep,
second time. Yeah.
yep. And so since then, you offered a third one. You've had
Yes.
over around 70 people go through radical self acceptance.
Yes.
And we've gotten to become a lot closer since I came out to the Netherlands to
Yeah.
start working with you guys, the team here. Um, and there's been the formulation of when the next Accept Yourself program is going to launch. And it finally came together January 4th, 2022, 3-month program, 12 sessions by Mark. Um, Bentinho Massaro and Corey Katuna as guest speakers. Um, 4 powerful modules, which I think is going to be great for you to break those down.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, awesome breakout groups.
New breakout mentor.
New breakout mentor. Yeah. It's so exciting.
Nice.
Yeah. It's so exciting. Um, yeah, just I think it'll be good for me to also mention to our audience that like yeah, for me it was very funny when I first, I met you in Costa Rica at the Shift into Permanent Alignment retreat. And then when I came back over the summer, I felt like, oh, like I was already on the become the creator step of know
Mm-hmm.
yourself, accept yourself, become the creator. And it was funny on our first phone call when I was sort of telling you like, oh, like I feel like I have already went through those first 2 steps. And then you were like, well, then, it sounds like you're not actually full in. You're not all in into this program and what it can actually offer you. And that like little reflection was like, wait a second, like, can I actually like still accept myself deeper and more truly and more honestly and radically? And then the answer was clearly yes, because there was so much that we uncovered, including my core lack belief of wanting to be seen, which we share, which is very interesting also.
It is. We can dive into that deeper. We will.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there's all these core lack beliefs. And the more that you really radically shine the light of awareness, love, light onto them and fully accept them, the more you can actually embody purity and the creator serving itself, shepherding itself. Um, so yeah, so I actually uncovered. So for many of us, I'm pretty sure like a lot of people will be like, I've already, done a lot of that work. I'm good. But there's a big deepening that can happen, especially from someone like Mark that like really does a great job with the meditations and the personalized guidance for each one of the people that's taking the program. For somebody that's basically who's been with for 6 years now with Bentinho,
On
who's
and off. But
on
yeah.
and off.
Yeah.
Yep. Who you could say is one of the greatest teachers on the nature of reality. So Mark's been picking up these patterns of consciousness and how to shepherd really well. So it's a great way to deepen your awakening really, and deepen your service. So awesome. So let's talk about the program, and let's talk about, I think it'll be good for basically you to give a little insight into the modules themselves.
Cool.
Yeah.
For that, also to make it more clear how this has operated in my life and how subtle it can be, I'm going to take you back to we touched upon this in the previous in the interview you did with me,
Yes.
and so if you want to know more in depth, go back to that. But in a nutshell, most of my life I was disconnected from my heart and was either seeking outside of myself for love or felt victim to not being seen or uh, by the outside world, by my friends, by my family, by loved ones, by people, women I fell in love with, and all of that. And I had this big depression about 11 years ago, where after a extensive period of partying with party drugs, uh, being completely in love and connected when on ecstasy, but when not, and by myself in my room, I was like totally depleted and depressed. So I was laying on the floor in my one bedroom studio apartment and just having this moment, like Eckhart Tolle also had, in a way, like I cannot live with myself this way, and realizing that something had to change. And so one of my dear friends who pointed me to all these spiritual teachers, he had already talked to me about meditation, and he showed me these two practices after I called him desperately, like, okay, now I want to know. Now it's not floaty
Yeah.
anymore, right? I was totally judging meditation, yoga up until that point, and he's like, okay, do these two practices. One, lay in your bed before you go to sleep, which was the most anxious moments. Those were the most anxious periods for me, like before going to sleep, having panic attacks, waking up in the middle of the night, sweating, like all these lack beliefs coming together, which I didn't know that it was happening. But looking back, that was what was happening. Um, Doing this practice of scanning my body parts, feeling the inside of my shins, the inside of my thighs, the inside of my chest, and then as my nervous system was calm, seeing these clouds pass by, and the clouds are the thoughts basically.
Yeah.
So imagine laying on the grass in the summer, and these little clouds are passing by, and you're like, oh, that looks like a donkey, or that looks like an elephant. You know that game, right? So this practice was the same, but instead of laying in the grass, I was imagining laying in the grass, and thoughts were clouds. So normally I would be thinking about work, and I would already have thoughts about, oh, I gotta go to work tomorrow, and this, I don't like this colleague. Oh, 5 years ago, all of that. But to stop that, the practice was labeling it as it was a cloud passing by.
Mhm.
So, oh, work. Oh, my mom, this and that, family.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
I was combining these two practices, and I already felt calmer during the day and falling asleep. And 3 weeks into this, and this is why I'm telling this, because it's tying into the to what you just described. Of, "Oh, I'm already there. I'm already becoming the creator because I've had this experience." Um, I was laying in my bed, and I had these thought forms passing by as clouds. They weren't personal; they were humanity related. And the moment the images went to the future, I had this samadhi experience where I became one with everything. Or you could say I realized I was one with everything, and everything is love. And I had always been seeking this outside of myself, but it was always within me. So there was this huge experience. That was 11 years ago.
Mhm.
It took me until 2019, so 9 years of doing this work, meditating, having glimpses of all these different levels of consciousness, finding teachers like Muji and Eckhart Tolle and Abraham Hicks and Bashar and Bentinho, and even having traveled with Bentinho and helped him at retreats and stuff. And I thought I was there until I received a reflection from Bentinho himself saying, your validation seeking, and I'm paraphrasing here, but your validation seeking shadow is still running the show to some extent. And you can eliminate it, or you can let it linger and stay on this journey the way you have been in the last nine
Yeah.
years, or you can eliminate it. And either way, when you decide to eliminate it, I will be there for you to help you and to guide you. But if you don't, then I can trust where you're coming from.
Yep.
Quite similar to the journey we've been on, right?
Yes.
And it was painful, it was uncomfortable looking at my behavior, seeing where my core belief that I picked up in my childhood, that I'm good enough, there's something wrong with me, had hijacked my spiritual journey.
Yes.
And I was saying to myself, I'm already there. I'm
Yes.
becoming the
Yes.
creator. But this program was still operating
Yeah.
on the background. And so that was for me like 9 years into my spiritual journey, into my awakening journey, into my meditation journey. I
Yeah.
realized I had thought I was there, but
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
didn't know
Yeah.
I wasn't. And that still is humbling to this day. That still
Yes.
keeps me on point, that the moment I believe I have become God, that's where I need to pay attention, because that's where
Mm.
it
Hmm.
can slip in.
Yeah.
And so this is the work
Yes.
of accepting yourself, is accepting that you picked up some beliefs
Totally.
from society, from whatever you've experienced in this life or beyond, but these core assumptions of lack and limitation and not good enough, not worthy enough. Something will happen to me if I express myself. I'm not safe. All of that, all of those things. And that's the work we're doing. That's one of the biggest components of the program.
Yes. Yes.
Like actually identifying those and seeing where
Yes. Yes.
they are infused with our daily life, and
Yes.
letting those go and accepting that we have been doing that and where it's coming from. And
Yes.
yeah, so yeah,
Beautiful.
the modules, yeah, you want
Yeah,
to know more.
and just the way that Mark recapped that is actually it's more precise than when it's more direct, and it covers more of the big picture and also the individual expression picture. Um, and it's really nice seeing how you've evolved in the way you communicate it since 6 months ago.
Yes.
And so I'm really happy you gave that recap. It created a couple other threads as we get to the modules. It One of the big ones is that um, Mark took us basically also to um, like knowing yourself, where you become aware of your patterns and your frames of life, and you become really earnest and sincere with like honest with understanding like where you're coming from, meaning like, is what's popping up right now in my awareness, is it something that is something that I've been conditioned with from the past, from my family, from my friends, from society at large? Is it something that has to do with unworthiness or separation or lack belief, or is it coming more from a place of truly wanting to serve other people? And so that's this ongoing purification process. And so to sort of become really aware of what's showing up in awareness, and then um, to to like really lovingly radically accept that there is some shadowy conditioning, and to not like, it's a really common thing, it's like I'm already there. um and
Yep.
to and so to know that like life is, and Ben said this at the shift into permanent alignment in Costa Rica, that he's a self-purification engine, ongoing forever. Like this is the whole thing, it's a perfection perfecting. It's always entangled like this. And so um we will perpetually for the rest of our life be improving where we're coming from, to be more empty of self-interest and to be more mirror-like and more like a shepherd. And I think that's really important because it'll deepen all of whoever's taking the program. And there's going to be about 44 or so slots, we
Yeah, yeah,
feel. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
um, so whoever is blessed and has the will and desire to take this program, they're going to be blessed with basically being able to come from a pure place. And so anybody that actually wants to get into service to others in this collective is going to be blessed. And that's such a good way to view it. um, yeah, thank you for that. So then that plays into module 2, which is accepting who you are not.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, accepting who you're not, which is I'm not good enough, which
Yes.
is I'm unworthy, there's something wrong with me. All those limiting perspectives, limiting point of views about yourself are what you're not. And it's safe to assume that all of humanity has picked up those beliefs as an identity, which
Yeah.
you're compensating for, or hiding
Yes.
from, or
Yes.
fighting, or whatever. So that is what that is, I think it's one of the most important modules, and it is a program with 4 modules spread out of over 3 months. But I have not decided yet how it's gonna unfold.
Because
So
there's going to
we
be
will
overlaps,
we're
of
going to
course.
be keep
Yeah.
coming. We're going to keep coming back to this, accepting who you're not.
Yeah. Yes.
Oftentimes.
And another
Yeah.
good way to visualize the accepting who you are and who you are not is like the sticker paper and then the sticker that's on the sticker paper, or the tree and the vines.
Yes.
These are good
Or the painting
analogies.
and the canvas and the what's being painted on top of it.
Yeah.
And the canvas is who you are, or what you are,
Yes.
which is anybody who's watching right now. It's like, if you ask yourself earnestly the question, who am I? And anything that indicates I am this person, I am a male, I am a painter, I am an artist, I am a singer, those are all thoughts, right? But who are you before that? Before you're Atlas,
Yes.
before you're the creator of this podcast, like, who am I? And just let no thoughts enter, or just ignore all thoughts. Like, what is that? So that is the foundation, which we
Yes.
will start with
So good.
meditation practices to point you to that,
So good.
or another technique. And I'm not going to give it all away, but
Hmm.
is going outside and looking at the bright blue sky or a starry sky and asking yourself, and again, anything that comes from the mind afterwards is not it. So to gently ignore that. Where do I end?
Yeah.
Right? So that is the basis on which we will do the work, which is accepting everything you've pasted on top of that that is not in alignment with your true self. And your true, so this is your true self, but you also have like this whole that has chosen a certain path on this planet, which is what I mean with that true
Yeah.
self, which is something we're going to be doing at the end, accepting your soul's blueprint,
Yes.
accepting what you came here to bring,
Yes.
whether that's a coach, healer, painter, singer, artist, actor, whatever that is, uh, to actually accept that without any lack
Yes.
attached
Without
to
any
it.
lack. Yeah. Without with as little distortions and conditioning as possible.
Yes.
So honestly seeing through it over and over and
Yeah.
over again until you can come from a
Yeah.
more empty, pure place. Yeah.
So after we've done the work, like accepting who you're not and identifying the core assumptions that have been running the show,
Yeah.
accepting those, accepting that child that picked those up, because
Yes.
what you've been doing so far is telling the child to get the fuck out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like not believing, like, but
Mm-hmm.
you're actually believing in those
Yes.
thoughts.
Yes. Yes.
So then what we're gonna do, and I'm excited about this one, but it needs some groundwork first, is accepting your past, which was where you picked up those beliefs. In
Exactly.
my case, I was
Totally.
bullied. I was a small boy. I had freckles. I had glasses, and my brother was also uh, not always nice to me. Not that not I love my brother, and it was just brotherly shit, like nothing like, like extremely abusive, but just mental warfare, like manipulating and spinning my wheels, so to speak. And then if he couldn't spin my wheels, I would bear the consequences, so to speak. But through the work of accepting my past and changing the narrative of
Yeah.
my past, which
Yep.
is important, but which can only
Mm-hmm.
happen when you fully accepted
Accept it.
everything that happened
Yeah.
and everything that you started believing in those moments where impending lack was seemingly present. Changing the narrative, which now I look at my whole past as kung fu training.
Kung fu
That's
training. That's
all.
such a good way to
My
put it.
brother is my
Yeah.
sensei.
Sense. Yes. So
Funnily, I blamed him for most of my life for my suffering. The moment
yes.
I said I don't want to continue this relationship this way, and I started actually seeing him as a sensei and just letting him live his life.
Exactly.
He's on this path now, which I
So good.
never would
Yes.
have imagined.
Yeah.
But it is powerful, bro.
It's so powerful.
It's
Yeah.
pretty powerful. And so
Wow.
you can hold on to the narrative that you're not good enough. You can hold on to the narrative that there's something wrong with you. But if you hold on to those, then that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to
Yeah.
create. That's what you keep repeating. So if you want to live the Jedi life, that's another way I look at my life
Yes.
as Jedi training,
Totally.
then you get to start seeing your past like that.
Yes. Exactly. As school for
School.
yourself that you signed up
It
for.
brought you to where you are.
Exactly.
It molded you into
Yeah.
who you are right now.
And to to see it that way, it makes it easier to do the radical self-acceptance when you see it as you designing your own school
Yes.
for yourself.
Yes.
Like, I designed my own dojo on planet Earth for myself to fall asleep and become separate and become located in the body and etc., and then to seek some sort of truth and liberation, freedom, awakening, to then actually know myself, my true nature, and then be able to see that, now I can serve my other selves that are aiming to do the same
Yes.
thing. And so when you create the simple analogy that this was my school for myself, it sort of makes it easier to see the past as something that is like not you. Oh yeah, I've accepted that, because that's sort of also where I was coming from, is that I've accepted that
Yeah.
I'm good to go on that
Yeah. And
stuff.
the energy
Yeah.
with the energy doesn't lie, right?
Yes.
So the
Yes.
energy that you did that with was resistance, the opposite of acceptance. I've
Nice.
accepted my past, resistance.
Yeah.
So the words,
Yes. Yes.
they don't have any meaning.
Yeah. There's a whole new layer of resolution that comes when you bring acceptance to it. And then you can dig into these more like shadowy roots. And then you can more honestly see where you're coming from, so that
Yeah.
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
Because for me and for you, it was such a relatable thing. It's just that, like, coming from a place where there's always this like mixture of also wanting to be seen or also wanting
Yeah.
to be validated,
Uh-huh.
it can't work when you get to like higher levels of service. It won't work. It can work like in the baby steps of service, because some people won't really see you also trying to be validated and stuff. But when you get to higher levels of service, it will get seen right away that you're also trying to be seen while you're serving.
Yep.
So the more that you can honestly look and accept those shadowy conditionings, it actually purifies the shepherding that you actually see, because that's the freedom. The freedom is where you can serve your other selves with complete emptiness
Yep.
of self-interest. There's so much freedom there. It's mwah.
Exactly. You nailed it.
Yeah.
um, you know, we've talked about this before, but when you have an agenda, when you have an assumption that you're not good enough to be seen or you're unworthy, then when you bring that into your service, you bring the hidden agenda of wanting to be seen as in a certain way because you already believe that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
You already have that assumption. So you could argue that if is that actually service?
Yeah.
Because the reason you're doing it is to prove yourself worthy.
Yeah.
Which you believe in something that's inherently not true, and there's no proof whatsoever outside of your own mind that could be true that you're unworthy.
So good. Yeah.
Prove to me your
Yeah.
unworthiness. Prove it.
Yeah.
Right? So the work is to actually accept that you're still believing that you're running from that program. Literally, your operating system is running on the program, but you're also running away from the program. So you are afraid it might be true. That's why you're trying to
Mhm.
prove it wrong, and you get like this little hit, like a heroin junkie. Every time somebody validates you,
Yes, yes.
that means that I'm good enough. Wow, but you believe you're not.
Yeah.
So you need to keep getting the hit, and that when you are with people that have been on this path and that have done this work and actually are convinced that there is no such thing as unworthiness in the
Yes.
universe,
Yes.
then it stands out like a sore thumb.
Totally.
It's like, oh, it's so painful. This dude believes he's not good enough, and with every move he makes, he's trying to prove that he's good enough. So it's not reliable
Yes.
because he wants something.
Yes.
He's looking for something from others,
Yes. Yes.
covered in this fluffy rainbow. I'm service to others, but it's
Yes.
all
Yes.
bullshit.
Yes.
If you actually look at it without, it's not judgment. It's
Mhm.
actually looking at what's happening
Yeah.
on a like, almost like a I'm looking for an English word.
More subtle level.
No, like a fuck. Oh, pardon the profanity. Um, two people just left the live stream because I said the F word. Um, on a mathematical level,
Oh yeah, it's
it's just like this
physics.
is what
Yeah,
this is how the universe works.
totally. It is physics. Yes, that's great.
It's like, oh, there's here somebody believes in the one thing that cannot be true, which is lack,
Yeah.
and is trying to find the proof that it doesn't exist, whereas the only proof is found in here.
Yes. Yes.
And then when you actually are convinced in your worthiness, in your inherent worth,
Mm-hmm.
just by the mere fact that you're here,
Yep.
then you can be of service. because
Yes.
because what
Yes.
you then automatically do is share it. And that's what this program is about. Like, I want to share my path with people. And amazing that those three groups of people that have gone through this program in 30 days. And the reason why I haven't launched one since July was because I've been in the restructuring phase of this, because
Yeah.
I'm trying to condense 11 years into 30 days.
Yeah.
And so 3 months feels better. And also because I talked to Bentinho about it and he gave me some advice. And I'm so blessed and excited that he's going to be a guest
So
speaker.
good. Yeah.
And Corey Katuna as well.
Yeah.
Feels really good.
Yes.
But yeah, so I can only do this. Like, this is my journey. I want to give this to people that are struggling with the same things
Yeah.
and don't have to take 11 years to
Yeah.
get to that point.
Yes.
Or 9 years in my case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The analogy that I like using is that the cup is always full. Like the cup is never. It's only mind that makes the illusion that it's only like half full or a quarter full. And
Yeah, it's
then
like this it's full. There are many ways to look at it as still full. One way is just simple. There are air molecules on top of the water molecules and it's still full. The other way of looking at it is there's a tap there, I can fill it up. So even when it's empty, there's still plentiful.
exactly, it's empty full is such a good way. It's a very, very nice and entangled way to put it because the purification process is emptying out all of this conditioning, which comes through radical self acceptance and knowing the patterns of how you express yourself. And then the fullness is like this full cup that you are, and that you not only realize that you are, but then you perpetually express yourself as that full cup or as a radiant sun, enlightenment. Um, so there's no seeking somebody else giving you light or giving you water for your cup because it's already overflowing.
And paradoxically so, um, you won't have to seek for it, but it shall be given to you
Exactly.
because
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
infinity.
So good. Yeah.
It's like you receive back what you give in tenfold,
Yes. Yes.
but you're
Yes.
not looking for the tenfold.
Totally. Yeah.
It will just happen because I'm serving the whole, so the whole serves me.
Yes.
I need
Yes.
fuel, so
Yes.
I will receive the fuel I need to serve people.
Yeah.
to serve humanity, to serve the,
Yeah.
this mystery.
Yes. Hmm.
And it's funny. Yeah, this planet is funny. And we are the ones that are doing this work earnestly. This is this not, I don't want to be dramatic, but we are warriors in a way, because we are uh, not fighting against, but we are resolving the illusion of lack.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
so we are in the midst of a collective that is focused on the only thing that doesn't exist in the universe, which is lack. So it is like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
it's it's crazy, but it's awesome. And the work is acceptance whenever those thoughts come up. And so this, so what practice, I really love it, but
Hmm.
I'm not gonna
Yeah,
dive
totally.
into it.
Yeah, that's a great one for the program, and for actually more content, because we'll be pulling clips from the past 3 programs and putting those out on the YouTube channel, Accept Yourself YouTube channel, also on Instagram, and so you guys will see more clips emerging from previous programs that will give you a taste of what's being shared. Um, do you feel like lack runs deeper than separation? Do you feel like those are about equal?
There's just one sentence that comes in reply to that, and it's not directly, it's not a direct answer, but can you find both anywhere
Love that
if you look
reply.
for them?
Such a good reply.
But outside of thoughts,
Yeah.
can you give me a, this is great, like Bentiu uses this type of analogy, but can you give me a portion of lack, like give me some,
Give me some of that
give me
ego.
some lack.
Give me some separation.
Yeah, give me some separation, show it to me, like
Show it.
where, like can you make something out of it?
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because it does turn attention on the absurdity of said creation.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so good. And then it enables the speediness of seeing through it. Just so good. Yeah, and I like that reply, and I like the speediness, and then I also like sort of actually like in when you do like sort of investigate like your life and like where lack may have come up or where you may have assumed that like you were separate from existence or that you were unworthy, these types of things that that also plays into the acceleration of seeing through it. So by earnestly turning on the shadows through, again, I think this is really important because I did a lot of it, but I did it from a, I did it without people that had already seen so many patterns of shadows. So, like, one of my main excitements around coming here was that I would be around a bunch of other people that had already picked up some of the most subtle patterns of how consciousness expresses
Mm.
itself. And so, that was one of my, again, my big takeaways from taking the program was that it's actually so worth it to see how Mark sees how consciousness expresses itself and where it comes from lack or separation or unworthiness versus when it comes truly from emptiness and fullness from service. And that creating a distinction there and then like purifying where you're coming from um, towards the creator purely serving itself is, I think, like the, it's like the core essence of the school. in a sense. And so like you may as well learn from some of the greatest teachers in the school and see the teachers as yourself.
Nice.
And so this is what I would say, like, guys, this is such a great opportunity to not only get deeper into knowing yourself and accepting yourself, but also opening up the space for you to really be able to get to these next levels or these next densities of awareness, love, light, where you can really feel yourself more purely in service, which is ultimately what you seek, because you seek freedom. And there's no greater freedom than when you're totally liberated from conditionings, and when you're serving life. Your sole purpose is to just serve life. And this is also a great segue into No Limit Society, this ongoing training, exclusive training program that
Yeah.
is being offered. And it's a great opportunity to, in a sense, see, like, okay, after I get through Accept Yourself, there's a $100 discount offered for April 2022 for new enrollments into No Limit Society, and that's such a good way to continue doing the work with the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah, and I've attempted that after previous programs, but it never really um, like I just saw myself working with these people and amazing people, all of them, and then what? Like
Yeah.
then they are left to their own devices,
Yes.
which
Yes.
I did feel that was a component that was missing and not lacking, but just um, and now with this new structure of having a 3-month program, and then those who obviously feel that that's their next best step, they can together enroll into No Limit Society and continue to work there with you, me, Bentinho's team, and Bentinho himself. And it just feels great. It feels like a great also bridge for those that aren't
Yes.
yet uh,
Yes. Yes.
ready for a
Yeah.
more intensive container like No Limit Society is, and
Yeah.
is becoming more and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corey recently said something to the Keita guides, and it was around how ultimately being in the field itself is what does the work. It's what does the purification. And so Accept Yourself is the entrance into the field. It's like your opportunity to like recognize at a deeper level not only how to purify where you are coming from yourself, but then also see these patterns that are going to be revealed to you. You're going to begin seeing those patterns in everybody else and how they express themselves. And so that's where you can step in and become a greater shepherd, whereas before you couldn't see those patterns. You couldn't see where people were seeking validation or feeling unworthy, or and you didn't know exactly how to serve them either. But now, from doing things like going to Accept Yourself, taking the program, also shifting into No Limit Society, you'll become able to see these patterns. Like it's I just I can't express how important it is. Like everything is patterns. And there's if you're truly earnest about knowing your true nature, patterns of consciousness is where it's at. Um, that's where all the freedom is at, and that's where all the pure service is at. Um, and then,
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
almost like a train
yeah,
that you decide to jump on.
yeah,
So in your case, you can track back when you're being purely of service, because that's just coming through you naturally, and when you are coming from the pattern of, I mean,
yes,
you can track back to the difference. You can actually look back on yourself and your behavior and see that the first example just goes naturally. There's nothing there. It just flows out of you. And the other one, you can track back to the energy of some kind of insistence.
yes, yes,
It's like, I jumped on the train of trying to prove something. wanting something, and that is that where you can look back on your how did you say it, pattern of consciousness.
Yes.
And that's the work, like seeing that.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can see it in others as well,
Yeah.
because
And
I can feel, I can
yes.
start to feel, and instead of looking at what somebody's saying, you
Yeah.
become more and more sensitive
So
to
good.
the energy of where somebody's coming from. Not nine, but 6 out of 10 times, I don't even hear what somebody's saying anymore.
Yeah. You're feeling the
I'm feeling
vibration.
where it's coming from.
Yes. Yes. So good.
Is it coming from generosity, or is it coming from
Yeah.
consuming?
Yes. Nice. Such a good contrast. Yeah. Is it coming from generosity or is it coming from consuming? Um, and the Anurag analogy is really applicable here, where he talks about how it's just like, skiing down harder hills over time. So, this also plays directly into the analogy of unfreezing your will. Um, so if you're run by unconscious patterns, um, it's kind of like staying on the bunny hill in skiing or snowboarding. And that when you shine the light of awareness onto those subconscious patterns, um, it's sort of like becoming a better and better skier. And over time, you're tackling harder and harder hills, and it's becoming more and more effortless. You're becoming more and more just one with the game itself, which is just life. And you're skiing because you love the game. You're not skiing to be photographed and to earn trophies and get points and all this type of stuff. Um, and this is a really great way to just make it simple. Like, I designed a school for myself so that I would create my own lacks and separations and conditionings to then liberate myself from it by unfreezing my will, by by caring about my own freedom, by caring about my own the way that I show up in life, so that I'm not showing up to try and extract things, but that I'm actually showing up to serve life. And by unfreezing that will, you become a better and better athlete of consciousness, and then you can actually play the game. Um,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Then when something shows up, like in the program that you were in, I was in Costa Rica, and we were diving into this core lack belief theme, and something had happened, and I received some reflections. Something went not the way it was intended in Bentia's company, and this core belief of there's something wrong, which triggers there's something wrong with me, came up in front of me, and I could just clearly see that, like a few years ago, I would have operated from it and trying to prove it wrong and trying to prove myself, trying to prove that I did nothing wrong and all of that. And now I could just see it and cool. It's
Yes.
not mine,
Yeah.
so I don't have to fear it. I
Yeah.
don't have to do anything with it. It's just showing up in front of me,
Yes.
which means it's not me.
Nice.
So I must have believed in it sometime, but I don't have to believe in it and operate from it anymore.
Yep.
So nothing to be done, just be.
Yep.
And I don't even have to do anything with it. Now, I must say that came after doing a lot of work with doing something with it,
Of course.
looking at where it's coming from, looking at where I picked it up, and
Yes. Yes.
surrendering to it. But
Becoming more subtle to not get triggered
yeah,
by it. Yeah.
yeah. And then same thing. I think we talked about this in the previous uh, podcast we had, where I just lost like 4,600 profit, book a profit, just in 12 hours. And again, that normally would have triggered so much self-judgment and so much fuck, there's something wrong with me. But now I was still feeling the failure. Very important. I failed. I failed. Just again, mathematically. I intended to make money with poker. I did. And then I lost everything. So I failed. Now, that doesn't mean anything. It just means I failed. And so humans would conflate that with, oh, I failed. There's something wrong with me. Or I'm not good
Yeah.
enough because I failed. Because I lost the money. But I could just see I failed. Cool. Exciting. Nice. Something to learn from.
Yes. This plays so deeply into what we've been training on in No Limit Society the last month or so, while Anurag has been teaching around the cleanup process, your physical space, digital space, the relationships that you have, the general administration of your life, health and fitness, your state of being, all these different things. When you go through a program like Accept Yourself, you're actually getting at the roots of the cleanup process, which is exactly what enables you to come from a pure place. And same thing with me, like in Mark's example, um, where like there wasn't as much sensitivity for me, like in August when I was first coming here, where I could actually see like the vine intertwined with the tree, where like the vine, the conditioning was running the show, and that then after a series of reflections, after a series of inquiry into those shadowy aspects, it surfaced as, like Mark describes it, it surfaces rather than it runs where you're coming from. It like pops up, and you're like, that's not me, because it popped up in front of me. It's now, like you gave an example, when you're laying and you're seeing the clouds coming across the sky, rather than being driven by that impulse.
Yep.
And so that's such a good way to talk about it, because then for me it wasn't that it's coming from wanting to be seen or wanting to be validated anymore, but it was the, as I'm like peaceful and still and already more whole and I've seen through it, it just shows up as, hey, the vine pops up. It's like an advertisement. Do
Yep.
you want to be seen right now? Do you want to do this thing to be validated? And you can, and then it dissolves. And then over time, it becomes faster and faster that you're like catching yourself, you're aware of these patterns, and it just becomes more liberating and more pure service. Is so good.
Yeah, you become yet again who you were before the conditioning started. Like I remember like actually feeling like I was 4 years old and um just pure, playful, abundant, fun, exciting. Anything is possible. Everything is possible.
Yeah.
There's there's absolutely nothing wrong with me. I'm worthy as fuck.
Yes.
And seeing that whenever those advertisements come up, they have come up sometime for the first time. And that's where you started to, oh, something bad happened to me. So that must mean that A, B, C, D, E. And now you can be like, oh, something happens that is connected to whatever failure, or in my case, failure. For 30 years of my life, that meant that there was something wrong with me. And now I can see I can choose that. And I did choose that already when I was 5 years old, when the first thing happened to me. Now I recondition myself so much that it's all happening for me.
Yeah.
So nothing ever happened to
To
me.
me. Yeah.
So when now something shows up that I don't like, or that I feel not, I don't feel comfortable with, it's not there anymore. The conflation that means that there's something wrong with me, or that there's something wrong, which is something that I'm uh, stepping into now. It's like
Yeah.
there's nothing ever wrong.
Ever.
Everything is
Yeah.
always happened for us, by us, through us. It's all just an experience,
Yeah.
learning.
Yes.
And so that's the work, my friend. But we are in planet Earth, right? So this is for those that are ready to learn, to unlearn everything that you've been taught that was true about yourself, about this world.
Yeah, just the feeling of no longer looking at somebody and feeling like they're a separate person is it's just so, there's nothing else that beats it, where you get past that, where you like begin feeling the one in play with dance conversation with itself, that this is another self, and I can really feel that, and I can really tune into what's happening at the level of our higher selves and why we're manifesting this conversation for our other selves that are seeking to know their nature.
Nice. But you're talking about ourselves. Do we have anybody that
Yeah,
has
we do. We have
chatted
there's
anything?
14 on YouTube right now.
Any?
Let's see who we've had on
Oh,
chat.
cool.
Okay. Hi Nancy.
Hey guys, thank
Nancy,
you for being here.
Jason, what's up?
Nice, Bernard.
Oh, nice. Yeah, this is a good one. Bernard, thanks, bro. That was a great conversation we had on the show. I'm serving the whole, so the whole serves me.
Nice.
Such a good one. Oh yeah, he's also very familiar with Law of One, very
Nice.
proficient in it. Aw,
Hello, Jasmine.
Tessa. Hi. We love you too. Lena, hi. Aw, cool.
Nice,
So
guys.
cool, guys.
If you have any questions, also feel free to ask them. We can look through the comments and see if we can answer them.
Yep. Yeah, and most recently, you can find on the acceptyourself.org website, um, there's been the creation of a lot of art and music from people that go through the programs, different kinds of poems and songs and videos. And it's so beautiful because there is something that unlocks. And then when you see who you are and you see who you are not, and you are activated in your soul's blueprint, and you've changed the narrative of your past, when you do these modules, without a doubt, it's art channels through it.
For sure, because
Yeah.
it's unblocked.
Yes.
How many artists, famous and non-famous, are doing what they're doing because it's compensatory,
Yeah.
because they have something to prove to themselves or
And
to their
and
family members or to
and
their
also,
spouse or
yes, and
and
also not just binary too, because then it also gets intertwined where it's both like their activating of their soul blueprint, but it's also intertwined with their lack belief at the same
exactly.
time. Yeah.
And how much more is possible, especially in the artist world, if everybody would be freed up from those basic beliefs. I'm not good enough, there's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Those, basically those two, but there are so many subtleties to it. It's not safe to express myself. So how many artists that are successful are there because they've overcompensated, and they've become super successful, but they could be even more effective if they would nip their lack beliefs in the bud. And how many artists haven't we seen yet because they are afraid of expressing themselves because they believe they're not good enough, so they don't.
Exactly.
Or they have like stacks of art in their basement or attic that they are afraid of showing to the world
Yes.
because of those beliefs.
Nice.
And what a disservice
What a disservice. Yeah.
to keep that for yourself
Yes.
because you
Yes.
believe in illusions,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And so, not to judge or anything, but it's my it's my job to to assist those and people and healing themselves, so they
Yes.
can become whole with the whole. Whole
Yes.
with the whole.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And can actually bring to the world what they've come here to bring fearlessly,
Yes.
because they
Love that.
already are constituted in their self-worth.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
then any art that comes through is channeled from God to God, by God,
So good.
or the universe,
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
I don't believe in the God that sits on a cloud with a beard judging people, by the way. I was brought up that way, and I kindly said goodbye to that. No, but I do believe in God. But God is omnipresent. God is
Yes.
you. God is in your heart. So
Yeah.
those that don't believe that that's true in their hearts, they don't believe that they're worthy, because of the fact that they exist, are holding out. And so what I've seen, and especially in the last program, is so much art coming through that is so beautiful, that I can just see this wave of art being channeled from wholeness, from love, from unity.
Mm.
How
Mm.
powerful is that?
Yes.
So if you're an artist and you struggle with self-expression, definitely sign up.
Yes.
If you're an artist, and I've had these too, and you're compensating through your work,
Yep.
also this is for you. But there's also when you're a creative making logos in a
Yeah.
boring company, everybody's welcome.
Nice.
Let me see. I'm seeing acceptance bringing expectance, but in a great way. Let me see if I can feel what they mean.
Mm.
Yes, I think I feel what you mean. I think it's what we just talked about. Like the potential for whatever comes out of full radical self acceptance.
Yes.
What comes out of a being like that?
Yes. Yeah. It's a channel of God's
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good.
It's not about you anymore.
Yes.
Your life is not about you.
Yeah.
Even though I'm experiencing amazing things and I have everything I
Exactly.
need,
Yes.
it's not about me in
Yeah.
essence. Of course I'm taken care of, but it's not what it's about.
Yeah. Also, such good timing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great timing. We were talking about I have everything I need, and then one of our beautiful
Go here, love. Come join.
mentors slash team members slash
Hello.
Gina.
beings is
Sweet. Oh, we're live.
sliding
Yes,
into
Awesome.
our
we are
DM.
sliding into our DMs.
Sliding right into their DMs. What's up?
What's up?
Hey, Gina.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming back on the show.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know.
And in Costa Rica, we did a
Let's-
show together.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We all met in the same place.
We met in Costa Rica. Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We've had an awesome hour talking about the modules and talking about like what people can expect from the program. And Gina's been working with you since Accept Yourself 2
Yep.
as well. Yeah.
Well, she was a participant in Accept Yourself 2 and a mentor in Accept Yourself 3.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. And then all of the stuff that we've been doing together.
And
with
Mark,
us,
like
yeah.
just social media and promotion and website building and just sparring partners, which you guys have been of great help in the creation of this new iteration, this new incarnation. It almost
Yeah.
feels like reincarnation of Accept Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really exciting. Feels like it's going to be the most complete version yet.
Yeah.
Because it's been like the longest one's been a month, right?
30 days, yeah.
Yeah,
31.
31. Nice.
Yeah.
So like the 3-month program feels so good.
Mhm.
Yeah, it feels like you'll actually be able to integrate everything that you learn in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a longer period with people.
Yeah. I would love to hear like for Gina to share from her perspective, because we've already had our own
Exactly.
conversation about this.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for you deepening your own radical self-acceptance, and then
Mhm.
also how that's shown up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's a big, let me see if I could sum that up. How have I deepened it? Is that your question?
Yeah, and how has that influenced how you express yourself more purely, like in service?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's been since the start of this year, I've been more consciously working on accepting myself. And then Mark's program showed up I think I took it in the springtime sometime, right? It was like April or something.
Yeah, like April,
Yeah.
May. I
So,
think. Yeah.
yeah, it was like just perfect. It was definitely exactly what I needed and a really good like foundational start to that, because I think it's like, where do I begin almost? Like, accept myself, like, okay, now what? But to actually have that program to like work through kind of like step by step of how to actually do that was super helpful. So since that program, I feel like then I've been able to just look at everything basically I didn't want to look at before, like about myself,
Yeah.
like things in my past, or thing like insecurities, or anything that I feel like it's hard for me to accept on a daily basis. It's just helped me look at all of that. And so I would say, yeah, I think it's helped me actually show up like as who I really am and who I want to be, because I'm not like trying to suppress a bunch of stuff or not look at a bunch of stuff that I'm not accepting. So it's, yeah, it completely changes everything. It's so foundational. Absolutely. And then, yeah, then I feel like I'm actually able to connect with people and like be available to people, like actually serve, because that's like where I'm coming from, that self acceptance and love. So it's so,
Yeah.
so different.
Hi, Lawrence. Lawrence is here.
Oh,
He went
Lawrence,
through the
hey.
previous program.
He was in my
In your
group.
group, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey.
So the thing that comes up for you as a keyword, Gina, in your previous, when you were believing in your insecurities,
Yeah.
how that would show up was hiding, right?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Hiding from your insecurities, but also physically, like hiding,
Yeah.
shying away, like making yourself small,
Yeah, definitely.
right? And so actually nipping those insecurities and the lack beliefs that they come from,
Mm-hmm.
actually doing the work has allowed you to become more of who you truly are,
Yeah, totally.
because you don't let those assumptions run the show anymore.
Yeah.
You're ahead of the wave of that,
Yeah, totally.
and so it's a totally different being,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And with you it's like totally different as well, like not like, because you were the opposite of that, and which is also close to how I was, like overcompensating,
Yes.
like showing off, like
Yes.
showing how much value you have, like
Yes.
this. And Gina was like, but coming from the same like assumption in a different phrasing maybe, but
Nice.
Yeah.
it all comes down to lack of self-worth, or something being wrong or whatever, and seeing how it once you see it, it's a disservice to operate from it,
Mm-hmm.
because you know better, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and it's cool, like, just to actually become conscious of those things. Because before that, I actually didn't know that that's what I was doing.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
like maybe I could say that, yeah, I have that tendency, but I didn't see it that clearly. Like, oh, that's exactly how I avoid things, or like that's how I deal with my insecurities, or that's how I deal with like my fears or anything. So you get to know yourself really well, actually, of like all your
Yes. Yeah.
patterns, and yeah, then like you're able to just release those, and it's so life changing, really.
Lawrence calls you the best mentor ever.
Aw, Lawrence.
Lawrence said he was going to join.
I love Lawrence. Oh, like the next
Yeah.
program?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So cool. Aw. Lovely. Yeah, there's another thread there, which is like me expressing myself with lots of jargon and like and like look at me and all my metaphysics. Look at me. I know true nature based on all these words and concepts. And so that's another way of phrasing what Gina just said, where it's like, I didn't really see that expressing myself that way was coming from a place of, in a sense, unworthiness and lack, because it was more about how much I can share and be seen for how much I know, even more so that it was still intertwined with also wanting to share with people something of value that would help them in their journey. But it was more the tree and the vine were intertwined like that. And so the process of going inward and accepting myself and looking at these shadowy roots, it actually enabled me to peel that sticker off of the sticker paper more and come from a pure place.
Yeah, nice.
Marianne,
hey.
Hi. Hi.
Oh, so nice.
So
The Marianne's here.
Marianne is also part of the team, has been, and is going to help again. So super excited.
She's been a
to have you
mentor,
back.
right? Like
She's been a mentor. Marianne has been
multiple
here from the
times.
start. So it's great to have you back, and excited to jump on a call with you this weekend.
There was another really good thread. So we've been talking about mentoring a lot. We didn't talk about this too much yet, but so there's 12 sessions over the 3 months, and there's also 12 breakout sessions.
Yes.
So every week there'll be a breakout session led by one of the mentors that's been a part of like the previous programs. And so it's kind of like basically the integration of the teachings that are taught on the session day with Mark.
Right.
Yes.
You get in smaller
Yeah.
groups.
You get in smaller groups, and it's basically it's like sharing whatever comes up and talking about it, and just being together in a smaller intimate group, so you can integrate the high intensity of some of the sessions where there isn't that much time always for everybody to have a moment to share what they're going through. So those breakout calls are essential to the integration of all the practices and modalities that we'll be going through.
Yep.
By the way, Tessa is asking, Gina, post realizing these patterns, curious if you went through a period of being hard on yourself in an attempt to hold that new standard of freedom.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, for sure. I think.
Remember our call?
Oh yeah.
Where you asked,
yeah,
maybe that's a good entry point.
What was I asked?
You asked, no, I've seen my core lag belief and I've admitted defeat to it.
Oh yeah, I'm like, how long is it going to take for it to go away, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, like wanting to get rid of stuff. And I think that's actually there's just so many little like nuances to accepting yourself. That it's just like that's one of them, like trying to get rid of stuff basically.
And we dove into where it was coming from, the same assumption.
It's basically like
the question itself,
because you're not accepting that, you want it to go away.
Yeah.
So you're trying. Yeah, it's coming from the same place.
So you could actually translate that as the question itself.
If you went through a period
So
of being
the
hard
period
on
of being hard on yourself is coming from the same pattern that you're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So it comes from the trying to get rid of. And that's not the intention of this work. It's not to try to get rid of the pattern. It's try to see it for what it is, and then just let it be.
Yeah.
And then it's
and
purified
see that
itself.
It's not you. It's like it comes up in front of you. You don't need to do anything with it, so you don't have to be hard on yourself for the fact that it comes up in front of you. Because being hard on yourself is another pattern that you're then seeing. So you just see, oh, I'm being hard on myself. That is also not me. I've started believing in whatever made me be hard on myself, but I don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ben T said to me once, why don't you stop beating yourself up and just kick yourself in the dick once?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. It's a great way to put it too. Yeah.
How long will it take? However long it will take. Right?
Yeah.
Would you say it still comes up sometimes in some situations,
totally.
right?
Yeah, totally.
It's like layers
Yeah.
of an onion. But
Yeah.
you're seeing that it's not you.
Yeah.
So you can just accept it. And sometimes it's like, oh, these are not my beliefs. These are humanity's beliefs that I picked up because of wanting to be a service to this planet.
Yeah. And I think that's really like one core of, he's checking on some sound or something. The core of accepting yourself is not resisting those things.
Yes,
like
yes.
I remember, seeing a lot of my patterns, or as like you start to understand stuff that like you're doing, and you're like, oh, okay, that's not ideal. Like I want to stop doing that. And then you can start, there can be a tendency to be really hard on yourself or want to get rid of it. I definitely have gone through a lot of that. But just to see that the more that I actually just really accept it exactly the way it is, then that actually like takes the I don't even know what the right phrase, like the wind out of the sails in a sense. Like it just kind of dissolves after that.
Yes.
And the more that I've resisted things or like really wanted them to go away, I realized it was just like the same pattern basically. And sometimes I did that because I didn't want to let go of it. I just like wanted to keep obsessing about it in a sense. And there's something to learn from that, but just accepting it, and then it just naturally dissolves more and more.
I like how you went into as it is, and the full acceptance of it as it is, and the investigation of it. So there is a desire to like unfreeze your will. There's a desire to know yourself, to accept yourself, become the creator. There's that desire for service, for freedom. Truth is what makes it so that it liberates you from resistance, because as you become more accepting of the conditioning that you designed for yourself, that then it becomes a self-purification engine. It runs itself, because you become more of the field and you become less of the contracted sense of identity that's trying to get things for itself.
And it's not know yourself, resist yourself, become the creator. Right? It's accept yourself. So is being hard on yourself accepting yourself? You can ask yourself that question.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, another thing I was thinking of was there's a tendency, it's like know yourself. There's a tendency to want to fix yourself, essentially. Like know yourself, fix yourself, become the creator. And it's like, oh, wait, that actually, there's nothing to fix. And I think that's been one of the main takeaways that I've taken from your program. It's like, there's really nothing to fix about myself. Even like being in a program, you can kind of get the sense of like, oh, I'm here to like improve myself and like fix myself in a sense. But it's not about that at all. Like that's not the goal ever.
Otherwise it would be called fix yourself.
Yeah. Fix yourself, 3-month program.
Jeez.
Yeah, stop doing that.
Yeah, it's like, wow, it's really just accepting myself and loving myself. Like that's it. Like there's nothing else. And that can just happen in a moment. Like there's nothing to change. Like,
how long has humanity been fixing itself? How many eons? Right?
That's crazy.
and just naturally, because purify yourself is like a byproduct of the knowing yourself and accepting yourself.
Totally.
So it's
Yeah.
not like fix yourself, it's more like purification is the byproduct of knowing and accepting yourself, which then enhances the way that you show up in
Yeah.
service to life.
It's like fixing yourself is, again, like imagine yourself being a 5-year-old child that has just experienced something that is traumatic, like somebody hit you in the face, and you, in that moment, that child started believing there's something wrong with me, right? Fast forward 20 years or whatever your age right now, whoever is 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, whoever is watching, the moment something occurs that gives you the same experience that you had being smacked in the face, something not going the way you intended or not going the way you desired it to go, or whatever, and that same thing comes up, there's something wrong with me. Imagine that being the 5-year-old child that experiences this for the first time, and you're trying to fix the child.
Mhm.
You're basically saying there's something wrong with you, child. You're basically amplifying the lack belief. You're not helping it by fixing it. You're telling the child, actually, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, it's true. This means there's something wrong with you. Instead of, come here, everything is all right. Nothing is wrong with you. It's just a punch in the face. You're okay. I accept you. Cry all you want. Have all the feelings you're having. It's all good.
Mhm.
So if you come from fix yourself, 20 years from now, you're still fixing yourself because you assume that you're broken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what you're really wanting is that self-acceptance and love. Like
Yes.
that is who you really are.
Uh-huh.
And that's like what you're sort of trying to get to
Yeah.
by fixing yourself, but
Yeah.
it just doesn't work.
No. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it just doesn't work to fix yourself. It's like a little loop,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like
You'll never get out of it
Yeah, it's just like a little loop.
because you assume that there's something wrong with you in the first place.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
why you need to
That's the
fix
key.
yourself.
That's the key.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
There's the
if you can just
assumption that
see
there's
it.
something wrong in the first place. It's so
Exactly.
good. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so good. Another question for Gina is that so now after going through the program and also being a mentor and now being in this field for 4 months together, I just would like to hear you share about how you've seen more into the patterns of how consciousness expresses itself. So will you give us a bit of insight into your new like Jedi like perception and like ability, your new like superpowers being unlocked in the way that you see how consciousness engages with itself?
Okay. I could say a lot on that. I think I could tell it as I've just become more of who I am. It feels like, well, number one, I feel like I'm in tune with everything more. It's like I can just see more, like how people are feeling or like what's needed in a situation, what I need, even,
Nice.
or even just increased intuition about like things that might happen. Um, yeah, I think it's just whatever is sort of like a byproduct of being more connected in a sense, like everything downstream of that. So, yeah, I'd say
Mm-hmm.
mostly that. I think just being in tune with people more,
Yep.
I would say. Yeah. But then also, I think being more in tune with what I actually want also. And so you kind of feel like there's things that want to be expressed through you. Like maybe it's a new project or it's just something you want to do, and to allow those things to come out in a more unfiltered way or a more pure way.
Yeah.
So that's definitely been one. Yeah.
What we talked about. That's what we talked about before Gina came in. When I spoke to the artist,
Mm-hmm.
like there's nothing in the way. So whatever
Mhm.
wants to be expressed doesn't get filtered through. There's something wrong with me, or
Yeah.
I'm not good enough. It just comes through because it wants to.
Yeah.
Because you are in tune, as you said, with
Yes.
yourself, with the universe, with your worthiness, with your wholeness.
So good.
So whatever comes through, it is not filtered through any just blockages. It just wants to.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is what is needed. This is what this body needs. This is what that body needs. This is what the field needs. This is whatever it is. It
Yeah.
just comes through.
Totally. Yeah. So everything you create just is more pure, more beautiful. It's like whatever it is, whether it's art or like a conversation with someone or anything that you create or just your experience is just like all more loving, beautiful, yeah, connected.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Of course, that doesn't owe that you don't owe that only to the Accept Yourself program. Of course, always also
Right.
through the work with Bentinho and team and
course.
No Limit Society and all of that. So it's, and I would say that is also where my program came from. It's like the work I've been doing with Bentinho and just the last years, just wow.
Yeah.
So this, I just love seeing this.
Yeah.
You too, as well.
I can cry. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, likewise. And that plays so well into what was just shared about this, like the emptying out of the conditioning and the self-interest, and how that enables, like you were sharing, like this purity with the field, and like this effortless action with the field, what this body needs, what that body needs, what's intuitively arising in the moment. And that itself, that level of connectedness to the field consciousness is like it's like it's like the most delicious food you could eat, and you're like constantly eating it.
Like dessert all day.
It's so good though. It is. It's so good.
Thank you, Jason. See you in the program.
Oh, he's gonna join.
Nice.
Awesome.
Sweet guys. Let's see what else. What else to wrap on? Maybe it's relevant to share that the session that Bentinho will lead will be on getting over your core lack belief.
Yep.
So
I still have to talk with him about it specifically, but it is surrounding the acceptance of what you're not. So those core limitations, lack beliefs that you picked up, and
Yes.
I'm not gonna spoil too much about it, but it's gonna be foundational, definitely.
And exclusive as fuck. Like,
Yes.
It's so cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Like,
So it's an opportunity
good.
for those people in the program to be the only people that are that will be asking questions to Bentinho, and that doesn't happen too much with such a small
Wow. Yeah, that's actually
in a call.
It's really exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
And Corey on another.
Yeah, Corey
one.
later on in the
Wow.
last part, discovering or accepting your soul blueprint,
Wow.
which is all about expression, and that's where she excels, bringing into manifestation your expression.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Cool.
So So yeah, January 4th, 2022, start of the program. Um, the link in the bio to acceptyourself.org. There's also a free discovery call. So that's like about a 15-minute or so.
Yeah,
discovery
so
call.
when you go to the website, you will find all the information there. And if you click join now, you will be taken to a um, calendar software where you can book a free 15-minute discovery call, in which I also, in that software, I ask you to answer specific questions. So I know what your intention is, where you see yourself, why you are sparked, all of those questions. And then we will have a call to discuss those, and further logistics will be discussed in that call. Also about payment and all of that stuff.
Cool. So everyone that signs up goes through that call.
Yes,
Right? Okay.
everybody has to have a call with me first.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I just want to know who you are and if this is actually for you.
Yeah.
And just to confirm and to feel each other's energy, I find it crucial to know who I'm working with before they sign up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the attention you give each participant. It's really
yeah,
great.
it's very important.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It helps so much.
2 hats.
Unicorn and a little kissy face. Right back at you.
Nice.
Yeah, 3 months starting January 4th. 2 calls per week. 1 call with me, 1 call with one of these two or the other breakout mentors, and then 2 bonus calls with Ventio and with Corey.
An awesome Telegram group with daily inspiration. Mark's presence in that Telegram group. A like-minded community is such an important thing.
Yes.
Because so much of us seek people that care about consciousness, that care about purity, that care about service, truth. And so sometimes it can be hard to find people that are aligned in that way. And like, this is a great way to find that like-minded community.
Yep.
And then,
and
Yeah,
like
that's
some
fine.
things that can come out of it, like we've had a relationship come out of it, for example. We are working on a Accept Yourself song, which is still in production, which when you go to my Instagram page and you go to the latest video where I talk about the Accept Yourself program, at the end you'll find snippets of poems and art that has been created, and the beginning of the song is in that video as well. And so there are so many things that will come out of it. It's not just a program of self-improvement. It's foundational shit for your life. Again, pardon the profanity, American people, but Lawrence says it's also a great place to find triggers to practice with. Definitely.
Such a good
definitely.
point. Yeah.
Oh yeah, nice.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will definitely happen.
Yeah.
It's such a great way actually to, like, if you sign up for the program, it just will completely change the flavor of your life, because like you'll be in this container for 3 months. So that's just gonna like change everything you do.
Yeah,
basically.
I'm so stoked about 3 months.
It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, wow.
I've as I said in the beginning, like 30 days, I loved working with people so intensively. We used to have 2 calls per week with me, but I'm realizing now that this 3-month container is next level, because it just is more time. And just imagine the shift you can go through in 90 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Cool. See, in terms of consciousness, there's nothing like realizing the earth is and space is fake, the sky is a clock. It's amazing. Yeah, but bro, you have total right to believe in what you believe.
Yep. So also the link in the bio is to Mark's Instagram, so you can also follow him there, and you can see some of his other testimonials are posted there on his Instagram page,
And on the website.
yeah, and on the website. So the you have about a month to get involved in the program. Limited spots available. So do sign up for this discovery call, and also share. This is really good to share. Like if you feel like accept yourself and the radical self acceptance has really rang true for you, then share this with other people. Share this conversation, this podcast with other people, and see if it's what they need. I remember after my own program, after taking it, the second program, after going through it, that it was so clear to me that there were people that were seeking that the program was a perfect fit for. So do send the program to other people that you feel like it's resonant for, this conversation. You can leave a comment also below with your thoughts on radical self-acceptance or your own journey with it as well. We'd love to hear from you. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Also, you can check out more content coming up on the Accept Yourself YouTube channel. More clips, more marketing content to be coming out soon from the previous sessions also.
More art.
More art. Yep. More songs, poems, videos. What else, fam? Pretty good.
I think we can wrap it.
I think we can wrap it too. Also, everyone, accept yourself. The journey of
how does it work
steps.
if I play this?
They'll hear it.
Does it work? Okay,
Yeah.
let's just end with that.
Are we going to sign off with our official song?
So good.
This is a song that came out of the program. Like one of the participants made this song.
Journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Accept yourself when you look yourself into the eyes. Do you see a friend? Do you still feel obliged to live a life? The time has come to bring that to an
Love that.
Like that, you know?
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Accept yourself. So good.
Yeah, that's the first line.
So good. Beautiful. Beautiful way to wrap. Awesome. Good job, guys. Sign up for Accept Yourself. Much love.
Bye. Thank you for
Much love,
watching
fam.
this all. You're amazing.